Something interesting has happened to Archewell, that's Harry and Meghans' foundation. They have changed the name, called Archewell Philanthropies. Now that might just sound like semantics to some, but actually it isn't. Because in the world of charities, organisation, the language matters. It creates accountability. When you call it a foundation and change it to philanthropies, that actually means something. We're going to look at why it matters, the sinister reason that I feel is behind this, and where does this leave Harry and Meghan going forward. So if you are interested in the truth, if you want to cut above the noise of lies, clickbait, gossip, then this could be the channel for you. Please like the video because it does tell YouTube that I'm a channel worth keeping. If you enjoy the content, then also please subscribe to the channel. That being said, as you're still here, welcome. Go grab your drink of choice, whatever that may be. Sit back and relax as we get into some tea, some truth, with a touch of therapeutic psychology. Hey everyone, welcome to the channel, or welcome back if you have been here before. So my name is Ems, I'm a qualified UK therapist, and although this isn't therapy, I use the tips and tools that I have learned in over 20 years in the field to understand body language, behaviour, and examine what is going on above the noise of the gossip, the clickbait articles that we see out there, because, well, I've said many times, the truth has to matter. So if you are interested in this, then, well, this is going to be for you. Harry and Meghan have come out stating that they have changed their name of the foundation. It's no longer a foundation. It is now called Archewell, or Merchewell, as I like to call it, Philanthropies. Now, what's interesting is this is kind of quietly come and gone. Yes, it was mentioned, but nobody, again, in the mainstream media has actually dug into this and called it out. Now, I have seen some tabloid articles circulating saying that they are being investigated or going to be. Now, whether or not this is true, I don't know, but I will keep you posted if I find anything that comes out. But always be aware that there's a lot of gossip, a lot of clickbait. So if you do not see credible evidence, or somebody hasn't explained how they've got to that thought process, then take it with a pinch of salt. So the name change, I think this is incredibly serious, actually. And I think when I've dug into this, I think there is a very sinister reason why they have done this. We've already seen that there have been staff cuts. There's been a lot of controversy around their foundation. And I truly feel that they are having financial struggles. Now, we know that when this was a foundation, they were taking 95%, or they can take 95% for their so-called expenses. Cough, cough. Now, the thing with this is calling foundation and philanthropist are not interchangeable, legally or practically. One is regulated and the other is not. And guess which one that is? Yeah, you've got it. Philanthropies is not regulated. So when they call something a foundation, and I don't know the complete legalities of what something is in the United States, and if anyone does know, please email me because I would be very interested. For some reason, being in the UK, it seems to get a lot harder to find information. And I know I could get a VPN. I have thought about that. I haven't yet, but so I may have to, because trying to find information from the US is quite challenging. But I've got my notes here, so if you see me looking off to the side, that's why. So when you call something a foundation, they have legal implications. There's no getting around that. They have legal implications, and it's where you are and where you are structured. And this is in the UK. But to be fair, I would feel that this is probably very similar in the United States. Now, the word foundation is not automatically protected, but if you are using it for charity or implies a charitable status, which they have, you must be registered with the Charity Commission, or you need to be very, very clear that you're not a charity. If you mislead the public into believing you are a charity when actually you're not, okay, that is misrepresentation, and it can trigger legal trouble. In the US, the stuff I did find was foundation often implies a 501c3. I'll put that up here, or private foundation. If you call yourself a foundation but are not tax exempt, or you don't operate like one, the IRS and state regulators can take issue, especially if donations are involved. Now, the key point is you can use the word foundation, but I'm going to get this right, but you cannot imply legal or tax privileges you don't actually have. So you have the fact that Harry and Meghan were running this foundation, getting donations, and like I say, there has been some speculation, nothing that I have seen credible, unless there's something in the US that I cannot find that states that they are actually being investigated. Now, should they be? 100%, because I absolutely do believe that there is a misuse of funds here. There is no way with Harry and Meghan leading the lifestyle they do, given the fact, especially the way that donations have dwindled and dwindled and dwindled every single year since they've started. There's no way that these two are not doing something shady. You've also got to bear in mind that they have, why is it not being looked into, which I know I feel like I do bang on about, but it's so important, that they have ploughed money into ethic. Now, okay, that could be some of Harry's money, some of the heritage money. Okay, that's fair enough. But I do think that it should be checked where this money's going. They've had millions in donations in the past. Where has it gone? You know, there's still that, was it 3 million donation from Disney that seemed to disappear? Where did that go? Anyone can call themselves a do you know, I keep messing up with this word, philanthropist, if they donate money, fund projects, support causes, even informally. There is, and this is important, there is no registration, no oversight, no legal definition. So legally speaking, philanthropist equals self-described identity, not a status. That's why you'll see business owners, celebrities, influencers all doing it freely, even when they're giving it minimal or opaque. Now, when it becomes like murky waters, like legally, which is where I feel that Harry and Meghan are going to fall, problems arise when a business or foundation sells itself as charitable, solicits donations, which they do. Now, I don't know whether they have changed anything, because I refuse to go on their website because I do not want to give them my information. But we know that they do get donations, but do they do it in such a way that they don't actually solicit donations, but I don't know, gains public trust? Well, I feel that's out the window. Doesn't operate transparently or legally as one. So that can cross into false advertising, consumer deception, charity law violations, and in the US, even tax fraud territory if deductions are implied. This is where regulators start sniffing around. So I definitely feel that when you look at foundation, it carries a moral weight and public trust, which has completely been broken. Philanthropist carries social prestige. It's literally Harry and Meghan, isn't it? It's like, look at how amazing we are. Look at what we do, but yeah, they don't. Like I say, it's almost like one hand's doing one, but we should be keeping an eye on what the other one's doing. Neither automatically means money is reaching people, impact exists, oversight is happening, which is why scrutiny matters, especially when branding, donations, or vulnerable causes are involved. We know that Harry and Meghan jump onto vulnerable causes, and the problem you have with the fact that they have an association to the royal family is that and if you notice, they pick they don't pick high profile people. They don't pick things that it's like there'll be certain charities, etc., that probably get big donations from celebrities that we don't even hear about. And so if Harry and Meghan donated, it wouldn't be a massive thing, because the charity probably would be like, well, we get all these donations from wherever, and actually it's not really that big a deal that we get something from Harry and Meghan. So I think Harry and Meghan purposely find people, charities that are so low on the radar that they almost feel they almost feel so grateful to have someone like Harry and Meghan, because even though we see them for who they are, just having somebody high profile take notice means a lot to them. And I think this is why Harry and Meghan use, and it disgusts me so much that they're using the plight of families that have lost children online, because they're using that for censorship. They're not doing it because they care about children, because if they did, then you would see them caring about children across the board, but we don't. It's like I've said before, they use children when they go on these fake faux tour things that they do. They're using the children to try and manipulate, and I say the children because I don't believe they have two children living with them, but they use the children to strong arm Ravik, to strong arm the royal family. We're seeing pieces come out in regards to Invictus that Meghan wants to come over, that they want the kids to meet the king, and the royal family know the truth. So it doesn't matter what the media print. The royal family are going to know what's going on with these kids to a point. So I think that there is some strong arming going on. I think the fact that they have done this now, I feel it's because breaking it all down, I think they're struggling financially. So then they're needing to keep as much of the money as possible. And the way to do that is to create themselves to be a philanthropy instead of foundation. So because there's no legal comeback in a sense. If they stayed a foundation, then it's in a sense what it was initially was this instant credibility, I guess. The foundation signals charity, oversight, seriousness. Even if most people never check the filings, it gives that kind of structure to it, I suppose, because it's the word foundation, right? Foundation is structure, it's solid, it's reliable. Words not to be used with Harry and Meghan. It has emotional authority. I think it has that almost grown-up adult feel to it. It places them in the mental sort of category, a long-standing philanthropic institution, not like media entrepreneurs. It also, I think, did imply initially that this wasn't about money. It's like, we're taking this seriously. We want to help people. We want to bring in donations so we can really do some good work here. But like in most cases, once you start picking it apart, once scrutiny happens, bearing in mind there was also, remember that French journalist who actually did some journalism and went to one of these supposed offices of Archie Well, and there was nobody there. It was just a vacant building section, and I think there was someone on a desk, but there was just nobody there, nobody working there. It was just a front. And I think that is really indicative of Harry and Meghan. They are just a front for money coming in, which they then spend on themselves, and they just give the odd token donation to, like I say, these smaller charities that probably hardly get any big donations, so something like $100,000 is probably going to be huge to them. But when you think that they've had millions coming in, and then they're just giving $50,000 here or $100,000 there, you know, just to keep it ticking and make it seem like, oh yeah, we're doing something, this is really great, or we're handing out some lunches to people. But actually, when you really break it down, it's not a lot of money going out to these charities, these people that are in desperate need. And so it's not their money they're spending. They're spending the donations that are coming in. They're spending on themselves, basically. So by switching it to Merchywell, as I say, for Christ's sake, why can't I say it? Philanthropies. No, not philanthropies. What is philanthropies? Philanthropies, for goodness sake. This is where I can't even have a serious conversation because I get my words jumbled up. I'm trying to sound professional and like I know what I'm talking about, and I just get my words mixed up. It just ruins everything. Stupid menopause. So why switch to the Merchywell philanthropies? It's also because I think, you know, they're trying to go for that sort of softer, kind of, I don't know, like it sounds different, doesn't it? It sounds softer than almost like Archwell Foundation. It's like it just sounds different. But there's, like I say, there's no legal structure. It's not regulated. It's not required to meet charitable benchmarks in the same way as the foundation. So it's not bound by the same public expectations as a foundation. It's a description, not a promise. So if people start asking, where's the money? What's the impact? Why are grants so small compared to expenses? Calling yourself a foundation invites those questions. Calling yourself philanthropy quietly sidesteps them. And so then when you have like the expectation management of everything, it means that the foundation before implied, my list is consistent grant making, clear charitable focus, measurable outcomes. Whereas philanthropy allows partnerships, advocacy, storytelling, one-off donations here and there, alignment with medical projects, vague impact, very wishy-washy. Which is exactly who Harry and Meghan are, let's be honest. You know, the reputation control is like once journalists or YouTubers like myself and watchdogs start pulling things and start comparing, you know, they start comparing funds raised versus funds distributed, operating costs, PR spend, staff turnover. It starts to become uncomfortable under the foundation badge. It starts to become a little bit kind of like, ooh, this needs to be looked into. And I wonder if that was what was happening. I wonder, because it seems interesting that when there's these rumors circulating that they were going to be investigated, I wonder if this was also why they've shifted. Because under foundation, there's, like I say, there's all of this structure, whereas under philanthropies, not so much. So I think rebranding to philanthropy is a way of saying, we never said we were that kind of organisation. Plausible deniability, which is something Harry and Meghan always do, or should I say mainly Meghan. Do you remember when he went, we never said they were racist, the family, after collecting an award for tackling institutional racism within the royal family? Yeah, it's subtle. Most people won't be bothered about it, but some might. And I think this is why it seems to have been just kind of under the radar. Yes, it's been mentioned in the media, but it's not blown up. It's not gone anywhere. Again, they got away with something. And it begs the question, how? Who are these people? Because this is not this. To me, either one of two things is happening here. Either the royal family are still hiding things, or still covering, in a sense, the media when it comes to those two. Because I don't believe in the whole time that Harry and Meghan have been together, the whole time since the children have come onto the scene, that there's not one person, one journalist, whether it's a trainee journalist or paparazzi or someone that wants to sell a photograph or whatever it is, has not come up with something that could expose those two. How is it in all this time they are getting away with things like this, getting away with lying about the children? Now, I do believe, as I've said before, the royal family were involved. They had to be, because that Harry and Meghan, especially when they were here, didn't have the power to shut the media down. The late Queen did, but Harry and Meghan didn't. Everything would have been run by the royal family. So if they were shutting down the media to stop them talking about the fake bump, etc., that they had to know. It doesn't mean that they weren't duped initially or whatever it was that people want to believe, but there was a point when they knew. But it's still happening while they're in the United States. So who is running that? Is it still the royal family? Is it to do with the fact that they don't want to ruin relations with the royal family, so they're protecting Harry and Meghan, even if they don't necessarily want to, but there's a protection involved because of the relationship with the UK? I don't know, but somebody is, because these things are just skating through and nobody's really saying anything about it. And if there were serious journalists out there, surely they'd be doing some digging, because if I can find it, and I've just Googled some of these things, if I can find the information on the company ethic that they profit from, which I've said before, they profit from the very people, the very companies they are rallying against. They're sitting in front of these parents and talking about how devastating it must be for them, how awful it is, while literally gaining money from Facebook, Google, Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, Meta, all of these things they are getting money from, they are profiting from, while sitting in front of these parents going, yeah, this is really awful what happened to your children. And nobody says anything. And it's the same thing with this Foundation to Philanthropies, and people have just talked about it briefly and no one's gone anywhere with it. And I just want to say that before I carry on with this is why channels like mine, there are certain elements when, there are channels that even if there are some bits you don't agree with, there are some bits where they really do some digging and find things out. That's important. That's why, I do bang on about liking, subscribing, supporting the channel. If you want the truth, if you want to keep this going, I know you're sick of Harry and Meghan. I absolutely get it. But I think what people fail to realise is people like myself who run these channels, I work full time as a therapist. That's my job. So I come on here and I do these videos in my lunch break, in my evenings, in my spare time. I'm then running the channel, and yes, it's my choice, but it's also because the truth matters, and it matters to keep it going. If I don't get views, it's not just a simple case of, I'm money hungry and I need the views. No, I'm also running the free therapy program, which the funds from my channel go towards working with people for free. They don't have to pay me anything, because I use the money from that in a sense to pay my bills, because yes, I'm working, but I'm trying to cut back on my paid clients to do the free therapy program, and I need the views from YouTube to do that. So I ask you guys, if you want to keep with the truth, I see many comments from people saying, please don't go anywhere, it's so important, keep going. Well, I need your views to do that. I need you to share. I need you to like, subscribe, hype when you can, because I do feel that channels like mine are getting censored. If you want to support in other ways, you can join up as a member. I'm going to be organising these Zoom chats as well for people, but also treating me to a coffee. Like, all these things help keep me going, keep me on here. Or you don't want to support in other ways, then just watching the video, watch till the end, like, subscribe, hype, all of those things help keep channels like us going, and it's really important. If you want all the links for everything, please check the description box of every single video. Join me on the other platforms. In this day and age, the truth has never been so important to keep going, to keep highlighting. And like I've said, if channels like mine get taken down, or I have to give up because I can't financially keep it going, then you're just going to be left with the lies the mainstream media tell, and people like Harry and Meghan then get away with it. So I can't stress enough how important it is just to please just view the video. So carrying this on, so like I said, when it comes to the regulation of this, blurring the charity and the brand, so when it becomes Merchywell Philanthropy, that sits very neatly alongside the foundation. It's just blurred into this philanthropy. And you then have Archewell Productions, Archewell Audio, the personal brand of Harry and Meghan. So it then kind of becomes this umbrella of this is our brand, this is the way we lead our work, rather than charitable obligations, rather than structure. This is what we, in a sense, this is what we're doing and what we have to do to meet those obligations. It strips all of that. It's safer, and they can keep everything. The thing that people gloss over and the mainstream media don't really talk about, this is a downgrade in language, right? So when you have something like Merchywell Foundation, to then call it Merchywell Philanthropy, that's a downgrade. It's because there is like I say, there's a sort of adult seriousness to foundation. It's structured. It's take us seriously, to wishy-washy. So they've downgraded. You don't do that unless there's become scrutiny and it's increased. The expectations have become unmanageable. So the things that they have set out to do, they're not able to do anymore. Whatever they want to do, they can't. And so the structure has now become unmanageable. Of course, it doesn't automatically mean wrongdoing. It could mean just a recalibration. But this is Harry and Meghan we're talking about. We know they've been under scrutiny. We know there are rumours circulating. We know there's been staff cuts. There's been problems. We know that. So it stands to reason, to me, especially given the fact that they have dropped significantly in donations, that this is why they've done it. They are struggling financially. They do not want the microscope on them. So they've changed before it gets to, before that happens. In a sense, they've jumped. So when you actually then look at this isn't about growth. This is about repositioning. You're reducing the legal outcome, with an attempt to maintain the influence, maintain the money coming in without it kind of, and the way that they framed it, like this is a passion project and, we care about people. So sort of like trying to, this feels more us, but like I said, it's a downgrade. If this, a bit like when we talk about her business, if it was working, you wouldn't want to jump ship. And I'm going to be getting into, I know that I have had some emails from people asking me about her as ever and the products that have been released. I am going to do a video that's coming in the next one, because obviously I've seen things about this and I've looked into this as well. But yeah, so you don't downgrade your business, your foundation, unless there's a problem. You don't change something that works. It's a bit like me doing really well, say on this channel, which, fundamentally it could do better, but it's still a successful channel. I'm 95,000 subscribers. It's fairly successful. It would be like me saying, I'm getting rid of this channel and I'm starting again from scratch. That would make zero sense, because even though, yes, it's hit a bit of a slump, the chances are it will pick up again. You just sort of add some fresh ideas. You just create a little bit of a change. Whereas with Harry and Meghan, it's if it was working and it was successful and they were getting in all these donations, why would you change? Because to me, they are being that there's this scrutiny that's happening, and they're running out of money. And because they run out of money, they want to keep as much as possible, because they don't then have to give 5%. They can take the lot. You know, when powerful people, or people that have got some level of power, because I don't think Harry and Meghan are that powerful as such, but they certainly are linked to, like I say, they're linked to the British royal family. When they're using words like foundation, it does create some level of, well, we're trusting you because of the fact that you are connected to the British royal family. Then when it starts to look as if they're being looked into, and then there's staff cuts, and then there's whispers of issues with money when you're setting it up in Delaware, when you're, you know, when you can keep you're doing it so you can keep 95%. Then you start to kind of see, oh, hang on a minute, something's not quite right here. And then when the heat starts to up a notch, you then jump from that to we're now philanthropy. So, you know, when the language changes like that and shifts, it matters. And it's not unreasonable for the likes of us to ask why. You know, it angers me when her cult fanatics say, oh, leave them alone, let them go live their life. No, all the time they are connected to the royal family. I will not. I will keep scrutinizing them. I will keep looking into them. I will keep banging on about the things that I know, because it matters. It bothers me so much that these two are getting away with what they're getting away with. The fact that that word has changed should make everyone pause and look into it. You don't downgrade unless there is something wrong, very wrong. So let me know in the comments what you think, as I do enjoy reading your points of view. Don't forget, like I say, before you leave, to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and I thank you for watching till the end. Don't forget to hype if the hype option is there. I know some of you get frustrated because for some reason it just doesn't seem to appear on my channel. I've looked into that. It seems it's a glitch. Sometimes it happens. I think because it's probably in its beta phase, maybe that's why it does appear and doesn't, because I do qualify for it. So sometimes if you refresh, it will appear. I don't know. But as I've said, all the links that you need are in the description box below. So right, that's it. Enjoy your week. I will see you in the next one, which will be coming up at the end of the week. And as always, you know that I love you, I appreciate you, but most of all, I respect you. Take care. Bye-bye. Mwah.